As Melissa quietly filleted the fish on her kitchen counter, prepping dinner for her and her husband, something unusual caught her eye. Startled, she lost her grip on the knife, which clattered onto the floor. Her heart raced as she noticed a gleaming object embedded within the fish. Hesitantly, she reached out to touch it. The moment her fingers brushed against it, the object shifted. Melissa screamed, her voice reverberating through the house. What on earth was hiding inside? Daniel and his wife Melissa lived in harmony with nature. They had a beautiful garden where they grew their own fruits and vegetables, and a nearby lake where they often went fishing. Living off the land was a way of life for them, and growing their own food was not only their favorite hobby, but also a beloved family tradition, especially since they enjoyed teaching their children different skills. That day, like many before, they caught a fish, but this time would be different. They had reeled in a mudfish, also known as a bowfin, a bony type of fish not popular with many. However, when cooked the right way, it could make a tasty meal, and the couple knew just how to prepare it. Their plan was to make fish cakes with baked potatoes, so it was time to get the fish ready. Melissa began by cleaning the fish in the sink, something she had done countless times. However, this time was different. After rinsing it with water, she placed the fish on the kitchen counter. Now came her least favorite part, removing the head and gutting the fish to clean the inside. But just before she made the first cut into the belly, she noticed something odd. There was a lump in the middle of the fish's body that didn't look like it belonged there. Melissa wasn't sure what it could be, but it's not unusual for fish to eat all sorts of things. Carefully, she opened the fish to investigate. What she found was shocking. A shiny object inside the fish. Startled, Melissa screamed. It was a gold necklace with an anchor-shaped pendant, and it was beautiful. She wondered how the fish had swallowed it, but that wasn't the only strange thing. As Melissa continued cleaning the fish, she pulled out its insides and reached the spot where she had seen the lump. However, just before she dug into it with her fingers, something frightening happened. Melissa touched something, and it moved. Terrified, she jumped back and screamed. Daniel rushed into the kitchen and ran to his wife's side, alarmed by her panic. "What's going on?" he asked. Melissa, still in shock, managed to calm down enough to point at the fish. When Daniel looked closer, he saw what had startled Melissa, a lump of flesh curled up as if it were alive. But the fish was already dead, and Melissa had already cut off its head. How could it still be moving? Confused, Melissa searched the internet for an explanation before touching the fish again. In the meantime, Daniel started filming the fish as it continued to move. After a bit of research, Melissa discovered that fish can move even after death. Salt, a common ingredient in the kitchen, can cause dead fish to react because some cells may still respond to stimuli. Finally, Melissa sighed with relief and even chuckled a little, glad the mystery was solved. The fish wasn't alive, it was just a natural reaction. However, the question of what else was inside the fish remained. Daniel noticed the necklace on the counter and asked Melissa about it. He was astonished when she told him how she found it and became eager to see what else the fish might contain. Melissa resumed cleaning the fish. As she pulled out more of its insides, a small ball fell out. Then, a few more small, shiny balls rolled out. "Is that a bead?" Melissa asked. They picked them up and examined them. Daniel squinted as he rolled one of the shiny balls between his fingers. When he held it up to the light, he was stunned. It turns out they were pearls. "Wow, are you sure?" Melissa asked in amazement. Daniel took one and used his teeth to check. Sure enough, they were real pearls. Mudfish like bowfin aren't picky eaters and will consume anything that moves, so it was possible that this fish had eaten oysters or mussels. At that point, the couple had no idea that the pearls they found could be worth a lot of money. It was an unexpected and delightful surprise. Daniel filmed their discovery and shared a video of it on social media, where it quickly garnered attention. Many people were just as surprised as they were. It's not every day that a fish comes with hidden treasures. Daniel and Melissa were particularly interested in finding the owner of the necklace, so they asked around to see if anyone was familiar with it, but there were no clues. A couple of weeks later, Melissa remembered that they had caught more than one fish that day. The other 5 fish were still sitting in the freezer, and she hadn't thought about checking them until now, so she thawed them and got to work cleaning them. The first fish didn't have any surprises, and it didn't move either. The same happened with the second, third, and fourth fish. However, the last fish did surprise them. As Melissa was cleaning the fifth fish, her knife hit something solid inside. When she opened it, she found a gold ring, and based on the size, it seemed like it belonged to a man. Once again, Daniel and Melissa couldn't believe their discovery. When they cleaned the ring, they found it engraved with two names, Junie and Elizabeth, along with a date. It was clear that it was a wedding ring, and they thought the information could be useful in finding the owner. Daniel and Melissa searched for the names and date, but it wasn't an easy search. After a while, Daniel exclaimed, "James and Elizabeth Jeffers." He was so excited to have found something. They did a little sleuthing on social media but didn't find any mentions of a lost wedding ring. The couple likely lost it long ago and had forgotten about it. Eventually, Melissa decided to message Elizabeth, introducing herself and asking if she or her husband had lost a wedding ring. Melissa was so excited to hear back that she kept checking her phone, but no reply came. Later, when they were in bed, Melissa finally got a response. Elizabeth confirmed that they had lost a wedding ring years ago. Daniel was already asleep, but Melissa woke him up, and they decided to meet with the couple. Before they met, Melissa and Daniel explained that they had been fishing at the lake near their home when they found the ring in the stomach of one of the fish they caught. They wanted to be sure they had found the right couple, so they asked Elizabeth about the other name engraved on the ring. It turned out her husband James goes by Jimmy, so they knew they had found the real owners. It was time to meet face to face. Little did Melissa know that the best part of the story was yet to come. As Melissa and Daniel pulled up to the couple's home, Melissa's eyes filled with tears. Waiting for them on the front lawn was an elderly couple holding hands. After they greeted each other, James and Elizabeth shared their story. Many years ago, while walking along a pier, Elizabeth's small jewelry bag fell out of her purse. Unfortunately, the bag was swept away by the waves, and they weren't able to retrieve it. The elderly couple showed Melissa and Daniel some old photos, and while they were looking through them, Melissa spotted something surprising. In one of the pictures, Elizabeth was wearing the gold necklace with the anchor-shaped pendant. They couldn't believe it. It felt like destiny. The elderly couple was so thankful to Melissa and Daniel that they wanted to do something special for them. Elizabeth asked Melissa to keep the necklace, and she happily agreed. When it was time for Melissa and Daniel to leave, the couple couldn't stop smiling. It had been a wonderful day for everyone, and Melissa was glad they hadn't given up on finding the owners of the ring. Losing something with sentimental value is always hard, so Melissa and Daniel were happy they could return something special to the elderly couple. What do you think of this story? Do you believe in fate? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.